Welcome to Ball and Ballers. I'm Z, and now we've got another show for you on this Friday. And there's a lot to discuss on today's show. I really like to discuss. A lot of it's to do with transfers. A lot of it's to do with Watkins. That's coming up. We've got stuff about Martinez coming up, even Isak and Sesko, and what the situation is with them. So, yeah, there's quite a bit to get through on today's show. Really quite a bit to get through. 1 second. Give me a sec. Leave that off. Yeah, but there is quite a bit to get through. And we're going to get into the first thing today, which is this here. Now, I've seen this on social media. It looks like they're having a bit of fun discussing stuff, discussing what's going on, and it's nice to see them together, nice to see them getting on. First initial thought when I saw this was, are we going to get that York and Cole relationship? You know, the bouncing off each other, the goal scoring that we used to get back in the day. I doubt it, but it'd be nice if it could. Because them two were just running wild, running rampant in the league. I think that was a game with Ipswich. We beat them 9-0, and was it Cole scored 4 or 5? I can't remember. York probably scored. I can't remember. It was that long ago. But yeah, the relationships we had with them two back in the day, and hopefully we can get it with these two. I'm not sure who we're going to get up front, which is what a lot of today's show is going to be about, or who we're going to sign to play up front. At this moment in time, we're running out of options. And it's really tough if you do run out of options, who we're going to get. I mean, it's like nearly end of July, and it seems like the striker options are dwindling. The midfield options are dwindling. The goalkeeper options are always going to be there, because there's always a certain type of goalkeeper. We're interested in a few of them. There's Sene Lamens. We're interested in Martinez, which I'm going to discuss in a bit as well. Actually, no. You know what? I'll discuss that next. Let's get on to Martinez, actually. Martinez, Manchester United sent a loan proposal for DB Martinez. Aston Villa have rejected it. I can see why they rejected it. They don't want to get rid of Martinez. And if they do, it's got to be a really good offer. I know they wanted some in the region of 40 million for him. I don't know whether you want to pay that much for a goalkeeper we're probably going to have for a few years. I know that United are trying to, or the board is trying to not waste money and bring in signings that will effectively work. It's been a while since we've had signings that will effectively work, but we're at the point now where, do we get him? Do we go in for him? Do we not go in for him? And I think we did go in for him, and now the bid was rejected. I'm sure if you make an offer where we can buy him, it might be a different story, but I'm sure Villa don't really want to get rid of Martinez. Even Watkins, who I'm going to come up to later, I don't think they want to get rid of either of them, unless the offer is really good and really higher than the worth. So where does that leave the options? I reckon we should still go for Sene Lamens. Well, I don't know how to say surname. Sene Lamens. Let's call him Lamens. Yeah, we should go for him. And only because in a case where we've been scouting him for 2 years, he's 23 years old. He's still young. He's still got a lot. Some of his stats was like, I think his save percentage was something ridiculous, like 77%, 176 saves. And that is something that I can get behind. I seen Onana on the plane over to US, sitting next to Mbumo. And I don't really want Onana. I've been saying it for a while. I just don't really think Banana Hands is going to do much for us this season. But considering our best performance so far has been Tom Heaton, who's a third string, it brings a lot into perspective, such as we're in trouble. What we're going to do in that position. And I know we've got like another 5-6 weeks of the transfer window left. It doesn't finish until 1st of September. We've got the whole of August. We've got last week in July next week. So we've got a lot to do, a lot of time left, but we're running out of players and options, and that's the part that I'm really having an issue with, is the fact that we're running out of a lot of players and options to bring in, especially with what's happening with Newcastle. So Isak remains target for Liverpool this summer, even after signing Ekatike. It depends on Newcastle. If Newcastle opens doors to an exit and Liverpool sell Luis Diaz, the Reds can send official bid after direct contact made 10 days ago to show concrete interest. Isak not in concrete talks with Al Hilal so far. Meanwhile, Newcastle have restarted looking at top strikers on the market with moves anticipated soon. So Isak refused to play. At first, there was a rumor that he was injured, and then it came out that he doesn't want to play for Newcastle anymore. He's done with them. And that opens the path now for Liverpool. But Liverpool have had offers for Luis Diaz, but I've been saying no to everyone, maybe potentially because there was nobody else that they wanted that was available, and that Isak's available. So chances are they're going to get Ekatike. They're probably going to get Isak as well. Let's face it, it's Liverpool. Who wouldn't want to go to Liverpool with a chance of winning the league? Isak with a chance of winning the title. Who wouldn't go to Liverpool? And I reckon they're going to pretty much get him. That means where does Newcastle go from there? They're going to lose a striker that they really wanted to keep. Isak, I'm understood, wants 300k a week. That's not something that we can afford as United. So chances are we're out of the picture. We're out of the race. We're not going to go in and buy a player who's not interested in us. But then we were interested in Sesko. And now this is where the problem comes in, because now that if Newcastle lose Isak, they're ready to go big for Benji Sesko. So now the chances are we're not even going to get Sesko. So that really dwindles down our strike options. And I don't want it to be the point where we're struggling. On the last day, we sign a player just because we can and just because we had no choice. That's not something I really want United to do. I'm sure, if the last day comes, and I reckon Ineos will probably play a little differently this time, where they won't rush in to make a decision on the last day just to bring a strike in because, they're the only striker available. I'm hoping that if we are not interested in a player, we're going to say no matter who it is, and don't make these rash decisions. But with Benji Sesko potentially going to Newcastle, where does that leave us with? So Newcastle ready to present their project to Sesko as proposal. The player is now also being prepared. Newcastle sees Sesko as an ideal striker in case Isak leaves, as now he wants to go and try a new chapter. As revealed earlier, Newcastle are very keen on Sesko, and the decision now depends on the player who's assessing all his options for his move this summer. So yeah, it does really depend on Sesko and what he wants to do. It also depends on Isak, whether he can be sold. I don't see why he can't be sold. I reckon he will be sold to Liverpool. So then they're just going to go in for Sesko. And then that would leave us with not much, because Ornstein pretty much said the same thing. Newcastle not exploring move for Benji Sesko of RB Leipzig in case Alexander Isak leaves. 22-year-old forward subject to long-standing NUFC interest plus a top target. Should Isak depart, deal challenging from financial perspective. But financially, Newcastle are in a better place than us, because even when they had Isak, they still went in for Ekatike. So they knew that they could probably afford Ekatike even with Isak in the team. So chances are they can still get Sesko in while they look for options for Isak. Now, whether Sesko wants to... Sorry, I'm a bit thirsty. Whether Sesko wants to go to Newcastle, it depends on what Newcastle can offer him. I'm not sure why we haven't really had talks with Sesko, or have we? I've not really heard about that yet. But then again, I've not really had a chance to look around and explore what I normally explore and check out reports of it. But Newcastle seems to be able to afford him better than us. We in fact have got to get rid of players just to bring in players. And that's the problem we've had. But we knew with Mbeumo and Cunha, we didn't have to sell. We had the money there, sitting, waiting just to buy him. And at the start of the window, there was a thing going around saying we had 100 and something million to spend. Effectively, we've spent 36 to 40 just on them two players alone. Because with the payment plans, it works out to about 30, 6.5, something like that. So we have the players there, but the reason we can't go all in is because we're still paying for we still have payment plans set up for the players that we currently have in the squad, Casemiro and a few others. So, you know, this is actually the striker that I actually wanted. I wanted to bring him in. I wanted us to go for him. But it seems like every single striker that I want seems to go for another team. Now, what I'm more worried about is Gyökeres going to Arsenal, which is deal done pretty much. We got the here we go already, which is pretty much deal done. And him scoring against us in the first game of the season. Then us going to Chelsea on September the 20th, which is actually the game I am going to see. I'm going to book that I'm going to try and see if I can get there on the 20th, but I should be able to. Should be able to go to Old Trafford and see him play Chelsea. But what bothers me is Delap, whether he's starting or not, coming off the bench, scoring against us. That's two players that we were interested in scoring against us. Now, if Sesko goes to Newcastle and we play Newcastle, I'm also worried that he's going to score against us. So every single player that we seem to have interested, it'll be horrible if they turn around and score against us and we've made no other movements, we've brought nobody else in. And I think that's the scary bit of it all, because there's no way we're interested in Isak. I know there's a lot of reports saying, why don't we go in for Isak? We can't afford him. He wants 300,000 a week. The chances are Newcastle are probably going to sell him for about 130 million, which is the rumor going around at the moment. And Manchester United was never in the race for Isak and no plans to bid. So, you know, we're really in a tough position now, because then that just leaves us with this gentleman right here. Manchester United made direct contact to sign Watkins from Aston Villa immediately. Villa answered he's a key player for them, which is what brings me to what I said earlier when we were discussing Martinez. Villa just don't want to sell him. I'm not sure about the fans. The fans, I think, a lot of the fans that I've spoken to want him to go. They even said that they'll pick him up and drop him off to Manchester if they have to. I've spoken to a few of them today. And that's basically what I got told. So a lot of the Villa fans want him gone because they want to bring in a younger striker. And that was the reason behind it. And we're going to go for a 29-year-old who's worked with Mbeumo before. They were together at Brentford in the Championship, if I remember. And they scored 40-odd goals between them. So Mbeumo's there. They've worked with Watkins before. They can bounce off each other. Watkins is a scorer, goal scorer. I'm not sure about how consistent he is, because I think the season before he scored more than he did last season. But he was starting more that season. But we also went in. I heard a report that we also went in for a loan on Watkins, and that got rejected too. So I think we're trying to explore every option we can, try and get him. I know we're not going to go in for Jackson, not with the 80 to 100 million price tag set by Chelsea. Way extortionate. Way extortionate. But Watkins, I suppose we can get something from him for the next 2-3 seasons while we explore and bring in more money and explore other options. And I suppose we can still do that, but we're not interested in Isak. Sesko is what we want, but nothing's really happening with that one. And chances are he's going to go to Newcastle, and Isak's probably going to go to Liverpool. So Liverpool are going to have Ekatike, friggin' Florian Wirtz. I'm sure this is on Kirkes. Oh man, they got Salah already. So, they're going to be even stronger and even stronger contenders to win the title again and move ahead of us in the trophy battle. They'll have a few more trophies than us. And we're still building. So, yeah, we've come to that stage now where it's just, what do we do? What do we do? But that's where we basically are at the moment. There's interest in Douglas Luiz, and I reckon he'll be solid for us in the midfield, especially with that gap to plug. And there's reports of hearing as well about Bruno Fernandes, how we should have sold him in the summer. And in hindsight, yes, we should have. For that 100 million that we were getting, we would have had more chance of buying in players. But I see where United are coming from with this, because Cunha, we already had. It was a buyout clause. We matched it, discussed it, player agreed, came to us, easy peasy. And Bumo wasn't very easy, as we know, because that dragged on for ages and ages and ages. And if we hadn't got Mbumo, then Bruno would have slotted into that number 10 position. Mbumo wasn't guaranteed. We needed a number 10. Ahmad can slot in there, I admit. Mason Mount can slot on the left. So we have got players that can slot in to certain positions. Mainu could have played there as well. But if we didn't get Cunha, Bruno probably most likely would have started. But now that we didn't get Mbumo, Bruno would have probably started. But the fact that Bruno hasn't been sold and we kept, and now we've got Mbumo, means, yes, in hindsight, we should have got rid of him with that money, because midfield isn't the really strongest position. So, it is a talking point, but the fact that we didn't sell him and he's with us now, we have to keep him. He is the captain. He is, I've seen the videos on the bus where he's trying to cheer the team up, having fun, just being a captain on and off the pitch. And I've just got to wait and see where we go from here and how this Isak and Sesko thing turns out. But I know apparently Sesko's price tag went down from 100 million euros to 70-something million euros. Last I heard, it was 60.6 million pounds. But like I said, we ain't got the money to buy him. Newcastle have. So chances of us getting him are slim. But thanks for tuning in to another video. As always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody who's commented, subscribed, shown me love, pushed me to keep doing this. I really appreciate it, because there's times where I look at my videos and think, only got this many views. And I look at certain videos that I've got like 3,000 plus views. And I'm like, yeah, there's a reason to keep doing it. So I appreciate each and every one of you for the advice, for the tips, for the love, for the, subscriptions, for everything that you guys have done, for the shares, for the promotion. And I really appreciate you. So please do keep liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll see you on the next one.